Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and to our next installment of the Let's Make a Book series, the Celebration Edition. This playlist, which I will link here, is going to start with the full flip through of the book, showing you all the different elements. And then last week's video will be included in the playlist, which was the part 1 of the build, which was the spine and the pockets. And so what we're doing today is we are going to make some of the inserts here. So we're going to make these 2 inserts, but the very basic parts of them. We're not going to cover them or make this little slider spot. Let me show you. So last week we got to this spot. And of course, I have a copy of it that I'm doing in the white cardstock, just so it's easier for you to see the shadows and the folds and any lines that I draw, just to kind of help set the story. So we have our front cover and our back, and we have these 2 pieces. We have a slide pocket from the left and the right here, and we have one that is from the top here. So what we're going to be making today is the 2 pieces that slide in from the left and right here. And they're basically the same design. So we're going to make 2 of them and mat the inside. So let's get started. I'm just interrupting to let you know that at the end of this video, I am going to talk about the giveaway that I'm doing, and the details will be in the description box below, of course. And if you are also interested in purchasing a bundle like this, it's the 6x6 paper pad, the ephemera, and the enamel dots that are from a different theme, but the same color scheme. I will talk about that at the end of the video as well. So to get started with our folders, we are going to cut 2 pieces of cardstock. Now in the final book, I do use black cardstock, so this piece here. I'm using white cardstock now, just to kind of show what my measurements are and how I'm drawing my lines and that sort of thing. So we have 2 measurements here. This line is at 5 3/4 inches, and then this line is at 6 inches. So we're going to go ahead and cut these. If you have a paper trimmer, then what you'll want to do is cut this line first, cut here, and then cut up this way, and that kind of leaves you a big section of the paper that we're going to set aside and use later. So I'm going to go ahead and cut 2 of these. Again, if you're using scissor and not a paper trimmer, the longer your scissor, the less frequently you have to reset the scissor on the line. So the less likely you are to make it not straight. There's that. And now we are going to cut 2 of this. This one's a little more interesting. So we are going to make 2 of these, and we are going to cut another line at 5 3/4, because this little folder is going to be 5 3/4 inches tall. So this line is at 5 3/4. And then we are going to draw a line here at 7 inches. So this is where we're going to cut. You can see that that's a full line, a cut line. And then I went ahead and put a dotted line down at 6 inches, and that's where we're going to score. So if you have your paper trimmer, you go ahead and cut the 5 3/4 first, and then cut it up at 7 inches, and then leave this where we're going to score. And I know that the way that I'm putting my sizes where I'm putting the measurement, it might be a little confusing, but what I like to do is I like to put from top to bottom, it's 5 3/4 inches. Just like on this previous one, I did the same thing. It's 5 3/4 inches from here to here. So that is, let's see, and then 6 inches across. And that just kind of is the way that I remember. You may do it the other way because you'll want to make this line across here at 5 3/4 inches, but whichever way helps you to get the right dimension, go ahead and do it that way. So again, for this one, I made a line at 5 3/4 inches across here, and then this line is at 7 inches, and this score line at 6 inches. So I hope that made sense. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to score our fold. Again, if you don't have a scoreboard, you're just going to take a straight edge or a ruler and bend it, kind of hold it down along this line and bend your paper up slowly. You want to massage the fibers in the paper and get it to kind of fold in a straight line. And then once you get it down, you can burnish it with whatever you've got laying around, whether that's your finger or a bone folder or a butter knife or whatever's not going to tear your paper. Let's see here. All right. So now that we have our two pieces, we're going to glue them together to make our folder. As long as you have the sides that match here, you're good to go. I guess I could do it this way since I have the writing this way. And now when I create these folders, I like to have the scored piece inside the folder. It just looks a little less noticeable to me. So I go ahead and just glue this section down and then flip it backwards. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on this section. Come on. It's really hard to see the glue on white. There we go. And I'm just going to butt this into the fold. Not sure why I'm having such a hard time today. Then we have it folded. I'm going to burnish that. And you see it's a little wonky, but once we get it all cleaned up, you won't really notice. There we go. Straightened it out a little more. And so now we have this piece on the back side. If you want to have it on the inside, we'll just fold it over. Of course, in our final piece, you're not really going to notice it anyway because you're going to have matting here and on the front and back cover, but that's just my preference to have it on the inside. So that piece is done. And now's the time where if you have a fancy corner rounder, go ahead and round the corners. I do have a corner rounder that I like to use, but for the sake of not everyone has one of those, this version I am doing without rounding the corners. But you can see here that I rounded these corners on the outside, and then they match here. So here's our folder number 1. Just shuffling through my things because I have folder number 2 already. Here's folder number 2. So now basically we've made the pieces that go here and here. And as I'm making these in the white cardstock, I also want you to see what it's looking like when you use the black cardstock. So now we have that we made last week. And I'm going to go ahead and glue this together. Whoop. I have this the right size. Glue that together. There we go. So now we have that one. We have this one. Oh, let me bring it back into frame. We have this here. And now what we're going to do is put our mat in. So for the mat, we are going to use 1 sheet of cardstock per folder. And if you cut at 5.5 inches down the middle of the sheet, this is 8.5 by 11, so 5.5 inches is halfway. And then up 5 3/4 inches, those are our mat sizes. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these with the scissor. And again, just do your best, take your time, but if it's not straight, no one's going to know. And then anytime I am cutting and I have an opportunity to keep a piece together, so that it kind of remains one long piece instead of 2 shorter pieces, then I'll do that. So if I had been using a paper trimmer, I would have cut this line first and then sliced this in half. Now, of course, with a paper trimmer, you don't have to cut all the way across the page. You can stop at any point once you get comfortable with the paper trimmer. But that's just kind of what I do when I'm doing a project, especially if I'm using a decorator cardstock that has a pattern. So here are our pieces like this. And just going to take this one. And we're going to just mat it to match this one. You'll see here that we have the tiniest bit of a border around all of the sides. So let's see. I'm going to turn these over because I want to see the writing. Hopefully you don't see the writing from the other side. It's a pretty dark ink. but it's against the black paper, so I think it's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this one down. And you do have two different sizes here. We have one is at 5.5 inches and one is at 5 3/4 inches. So even though they almost look like squares, you want to make sure that you have them pointing the right way. Oop, wrong way. See? And with the tiniest bit of a mat sticking out from the back. And this part. Nope. It's right the first time. Oh, how different those are. Just paying so much attention to what's going on the right-hand side of this paper. Forgot that I kind of want to line it up with here as well. There we go. Now we have our second little mat. And that one goes here. This one goes here. And there we have it. Okay, on to our giveaway. I'm giving away one bundle of these items. So this is a 6x6 paper pad that's Celebrate by Stephen Duncan by Carta, the matching ephemera, and some matching enamel dots. And in order to enter the giveaway, you just need to comment in the comments of this video and let me know if you've ever made a mini album made out of cardstock before, and also let me know if you have a scoreboard and a trimmer, or if you just use a scissors or a craft knife. So I will go ahead and leave the entries open for a week, and next Monday I will choose a winner and let y'all know who that is. So I also have some of these bundles that you can purchase if you're interested, and I will have a link to that below. Again, thanks for watching, and don't forget, safety first.